The Chip Kelly era got off to a rough start in 2018, but can the Bruins make major improvements in 2019? Find out here on the Gridiron Expert. UCLA just went 3-9 in year one of the Chip Kelly era, but it should be noted that all three of those wins came against Pac-12 opponents in California, Arizona, and USC. This year, the Bruins returned one of the most experienced teams in the entire nation with 9 returning starters on offense and 10 returning starters on defense. They will be led by their quarterback, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who last year split some time with Wilton Speight but ended up winning that starting job down the road and now will be the full-time starter for the Bruins in 2019. And I think with another year under his belt, a whole offseason under his belt, he will do very well in Chip Kelly's offense in year 2. But the big leader for their offense will be running back Joshua Kelly, who rushed for over 1,200 yards and 12 touchdowns in 2018. One of the lone bright spots for the Bruins offense that averaged just 24.6 points per game. Defensively, though, that's where they need the most help. They allowed 34.1 points per game in 2018. They're going to have to get those numbers way down in 2019 if they want to have any shot at making a bowl game. They will be led by linebacker Chris Barnes and their cornerback Darnay Holmes, both very solid starters and both very experienced players for this UCLA team. But more than anything, they're going to have to improve their rushing defense that allowed 199 rushing yards per game last year. And unfortunately for UCLA, they faced some very dangerous running backs over the course of the season, but very dangerous running backs, especially before their first bye on October 12th. They open up on the road against Cincinnati, a team that came into UCLA last year, came into the Rose Bowl and won 26-17 last season. They will be led by Desmond Ridder, a very dangerous quarterback, and Michael Warren, a 1,300-yard rusher and a guy that had 19 touchdowns on the ground last season. So this will be a very good test for UCLA to see if that rushing defense can improve. Cincinnati's defense, though, also only allowed 17.2 points per game. The offense for UCLA, yes, returns 9 starters, but still is going to have some things they have to work on early on. This game being on the road, Luke Fickell has his team ready not just to win in the American Athletic, but also to pull off some upsets along the way. And they do that in week 1, beating UCLA for the second straight year, this time coming at home. UCLA starts out the season 0-1. They take on San Diego State in week 2, another team that boasts a very dangerous running back in Juwan Washington, who averaged 5 yards per carry last year, nearly cracking 1,000 yards, but did battle some injuries. Assuming he is back fully healthy, this is going to be another test for this UCLA rushing defense. But the game is at home. Outside of Washington, I could see the San Diego State offense struggling a little bit, and I think UCLA pulls out a win over the Aztecs, but a team that is not afraid to beat up on other Power 5 opponents. You saw what they did last year against Arizona State, fresh off of their victory against Michigan State, so UCLA cannot afford to overlook the Aztecs, but I think the Bruins get the job done, and they are 1-1. Going in to another big-time showdown against Oklahoma, a team that beat the Bruins 49-21 last year in Norman. Now, as we all know, Jalen Hurts transfers over to Oklahoma, leaves Alabama to come take over at Oklahoma for Kyler Murray, who is now playing in the NFL, the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft. This Oklahoma team will once again be a college football playoff contender, and the offense, in my opinion, will just be way too much for this UCLA defense to handle. It's still week 3. They're still going to be working on stuff. Yes, they will be improved, no doubt in my mind. But this Oklahoma offense, if you thought they were going to take a step back after losing their Heisman Trophy winner in Murray, you need to think again. And also, Oklahoma's defense will improve, I think, in 2019 with 8 returning starters. Even though UCLA gets to host this game, I think they once again fall to the Sooners, but they will not lose by 28 points. It will be a little closer than that, but the Sooners do get the win. UCLA drops to 1-2. They go on the road to face Washington State, a team that has been on fire under Mike Leach over the past few years, especially last year, winning 11 games for the first time in program history. Yes, they lose their star quarterback in Gardner Minshew, but they bring in another capable quarterback in Gage Gabrud from Eastern Washington, a transfer quarterback. This offense will not take a step back whatsoever. The game's in Pullman, and that's quickly become one of the more dangerous places to play in the entire Pac-12. I think UCLA falls on the road to a Cougars team that will not take as big of a step back as many people think. They immediately thought that because they lose Gardner Minshew and so much offensive talent that they will not be able to replicate. And I don't think they'll get those 11 wins again, but they will still be a dangerous team in the Pac-12 and certainly will be a bowl team. The Bruins fall to the Cougars. And once again, it's looking like another rough season for UCLA. They're sitting at 1-3, that lone win coming over San Diego State. And now they're going to be 1-4, falling on the road to Arizona. And last year, UCLA beat the Wildcats, winning that game 31-30. But Arizona will be coming off a bye in this game. This game is at home for the Wildcats, and assuming that they can stay healthy, assuming that Khalil Tate is healthy, he could very well give this UCLA defense some fits. And as I mentioned at the beginning, the defense will be the key for the Bruins in 2019. Even if they shut down Khalil Tate, who's not only just a good passer, but can beat you on the ground as well, the Wildcats have a very capable running back in J.J. Taylor, one of the more dangerous running backs in the Pac-12. This game on the road, I don't have faith in UCLA pulling that one off, and they will fall to the Wildcats. But they will get their first conference victory at home against Oregon State. This is a team that I think will greatly improve statistically in 2019. Led by Jonathan Smith as their head coach, they have Jake Luton at quarterback. They have Jamar Jefferson at running back and a wide receiver core that is not getting enough attention by any means. And they returned 9 starters defensively. It's a team that I do think could very well get more than 2 wins like they had last year. But the schedule is so tough for them, I don't know if you'll see that much improvement. With this game being at home for UCLA, in desperate need of a win, Chip Kelly and the Bruins get it done. They are able to exploit enough weaknesses in that Oregon State defense that will be very experienced, and they get what I think will be a close victory at home to be 2-4 going into their bye week before they go on the road against Stanford. Unfortunately for UCLA, Stanford is also off a bye, but last year UCLA gave Stanford quite a fight, losing just 49-42. And as I mentioned, UCLA got much more competitive down the stretch last year. Reminded me a lot of Nebraska, a team that started 0-6, but ended up winning 4 of their last 6 games to finish 4-8. UCLA finished 3-9, but got much more competitive down the stretch. They will fall to Stanford, who will have a very potent passing attack led by KJ Costello in a defense that, under David Shaw, is usually fairly tough. And I don't like that this game was on the road, so I think the Bruins will fall. But you can expect it to be another close one. UCLA nearly winning last year just by a touchdown. Could be another close one again in 2019. But they do fall to the Cardinal here. But the schedule gets a little more manageable right here. These next couple of weeks, at least the next 2 weeks, it's manageable for UCLA. A chance to rack up a couple of victories here. They start off against Arizona State, and this is a game that by far the rushing defense has to step up when they're going up against a guy in Eno Benjamin, one of the best running backs in the entire Pac-12, rushed for over 1,600 yards in 2018, and will certainly be the workhorse for the Sun Devils in 2019, as they will more likely be starting a true freshman at quarterback in Jaden Daniels. Last year, UCLA only lost to the Sun Devils by 3 points. That was an Arizona State team that went 7-5 in the regular season. This year, they lose Manny Wilkins, they lose N'Keal Harry, they rely on Eno Benjamin, and I think this defense steps up, shuts down Eno Benjamin, forces Jaden Daniels to win this game through the air. He can't do it, especially on the road, and UCLA gets another win, finally, against the Sun Devils. They get their second straight victory with a win over Colorado, a team that I do think will have a fairly potent offense, led by Steven Montez and Laviska Shenault, his top wide receiver. They returned 7 total offensively. But the defense for Colorado is going to be, I think, the weakness, even though Mel Tucker comes in as their new head coach and a guy that is a defensive-minded coach. He will get Colorado there eventually. It's just not going to be in 2019. And UCLA, with this game at home, and a team that I think does carry a little bit of momentum into 2019, even though they were just 3-9, gets the win over the Buffaloes for their 4th win of the season. And now they're just sitting at 4-5. They're 2 wins away from a bowl game. They've already improved on last year's record. They get a bye week going into the game at Utah. And Utah, a team that everybody knows is going to be one of the biggest surprise teams, or has been pegged as one of the biggest surprise teams going into 2019. A team that could very well win the Pac-12, and a team that could be a surprise college football playoff contender. Even though they're coming off a bye week, the Bruins don't stand a chance against the Utes, assuming they can stay healthy. Assuming Tyler Huntley stays healthy, assuming Zach Moss stays healthy, this defense led by Kyle Whittingham will be one of the best in the Pac-12, maybe one of the best in the nation, and UCLA will fall to the Utes, a team that they lost to by 31 points in 2018. They fall to Utah. Go on the road to face USC, a team that UCLA did beat 34-27 last year, so another narrow victory. But this USC team will be different in 2019. They went just 5-7 in 2018. Clay Helton is on the hot seat in 2019. He will be fighting for his job probably every single week of the 2019 season, especially with the tough schedule that the Trojans have. But JT Daniels will take major strides in 2019 at the quarterback position. He returns 4 very, very dangerous wide receivers. This game being played at the Coliseum, I know it's a rivalry game and anything can happen, but I think USC will improve too much on both sides of the ball in 2019, and they get a win, a revenge win over the Bruins in the second to last week of the season. UCLA falls to the Trojans, and that eliminates them from bowl eligibility, from bowl contention, as that would be their 7th loss. They close out the season against California, a team that UCLA beat by 30 points last year, 37-7. That was also the first win for Chip Kelly at UCLA. He will repeat that success and beat the Golden Bears in the season finale. Even though they will boast one of the best secondaries in the entire nation, this is a game where maybe you see Joshua Kelly really break out, have another big game to add to what he did last year in 2018. And even though they won't be able to win this game, it could prevent California from possibly getting to a bowl game. A team that I do think will struggle. The defense is great, the offense is not. And the offense is going to struggle against a UCLA defense that should improve drastically in 2019. The Bruins close out the season with a win and finish 2019 with a 5-7 record. And that's obviously a major sign of improvement, going from 3-9, obviously being competitive, but going from 3-9 to 5-7, missing out by just one game on the postseason. And when you look at the schedule for a game that maybe UCLA could pull off to get to the postseason, maybe it comes against Cincinnati on the road. Maybe it comes against Arizona on the road. Or maybe it comes against USC on the road as well. But as I mentioned, this is a very tough schedule for the Bruins, no doubt in my mind. But Chip Kelly's got his team going in the right direction. People will criticize him, saying that he was not the right man for the job after back-to-back losing seasons, something that never happened to him at Oregon. But I do believe he's the right man for the job. He's building something here. He just got dealt a very young team in year 1. He has to build on that continuously. But coaches usually hit their stride in year 3 or year 4. And if this is the case for UCLA in year 2, watch out for the Bruins in year 3. So guys, as always, thank you for watching us here. Go check us out and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Gridiron Expert. And go to our official website, thegridironexpert.com. Sign up for our newsletter and especially sign up for our expert picks. For just $30, you will get every single one of our 2019 college football spread picks, including the postseason. I can promise you it's a deal that you cannot miss out on, a deal you do not want to pass up. So go join our team today. Sign up for our expert picks only at thegridironexpert.com. And guys, as always, thank you for watching us here on YouTube. Please continue to like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you next time on The Gridiron Expert.